And maybe we don't open school, tell her that's what we do. Huh? Yeah, man, yeah, man. I haven't seen him in you have to set the child to either come back and stop or Mr. Nancy. That's why she can't
So who was there in mind? See, so make them come and tell you the damn foolishness. I know the people mash up the system, you know. Professor Will.
Where you from with that leg?
Well, you know what, so far and bucket and drop, you know. Yeah? Yes, sir. But you know, you carry them. You know, stop and do it, man. No, you practice the answer. Yeah.
And he's still working late on the damn thing. And he's not exactly 2-year-old.
Hello.
Your regenerative capacity has grown and diminished significantly.
Man shall not be back, truck shall load.
But it's an auxiliary.
No, man, I don't care. Man shall not be back, truck shall load.
You know that at a point.
Faith, attitude, and trust.
I know.
What do you want to big ass family? Yeah, no, I would get. What do you mean that shirt?
You know which
No, because what my big, you know, the man, my mind, man, I could spend it, I don't know who died, what the man come out of, so, you know, that's really right. Bro, 66 man. No, man, the man who is a man is dead, man. What a pass, we're going to the pass now. With much work here. Yeah. With much work here was after the second big
They have to go.
When you are in something,
and I agree with Patrick. And the challenge with the country is not moving because it's just the environment that you can move an organization now, beyond where you know. And a lot of people, the Jamaica moving Buster and Manly went abroad and Mark Garvin, very frustrating. Martin Luther. That's everything in indulgences.
Better way studying all this.
Sometimes I need some, I don't know.
Oh, we never get that.
it is a means by which we have all and make our position more. Them come to a resolution. What is built on $1 million or 4 months. That's indulgence.
There's not much spirit.
One other thing myself. Why not? Sir, I'm confused.
Yeah, anytime somebody comes to you, we will for the research.
Doesn't mean that you are confused.
Yeah. No, not that. It's just the story of the launch place. Because I was on the people who are doing it. You cannot do that. People don't want to go look for food. When you go to land, they will wait till you kill one session. They have to pay for shot. No, I can't. And them kill it. Just send your runners and forget the people. Where you
Constitution like that way. And that is why when it comes to people run and kill because
my credential person. My credential person will do much.
we never tried.
Now let's send them to wind them up outside.
Okay, sir. Ring the bell then. Ring the bell.
This is the second time.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah, you know the people outside. Just remember outside. Hello. We just do your rounds. Tell them to go inside.
Here and get them and say, come.
They call them what? They call them the whip. They turn on it. A whip.
Where's the one here says some left door?
What you could do now?
But did you ask?
What's your name?
Richard.
She's married.
She was
college that
Yeah,
graduate.
they had undergraduate courses. And they had never applied.
I want to go and practice this.
They don't apply.
So all out.
And a man. Who you want?
Hello, you have a call on Barras.
Good afternoon, colleagues.
Good afternoon.
Madam.
I trust that we're filled and ready to go. At this time, I'll call on our Chair of Credentials, Mrs. Mona Ellis, to ascertain whether or not we have a quorum.
Where's Mona? Mona is it?
Thank you, Madam President. I want to.
No sound, no sound.
It's coming in, it's coming in, it's coming in. Check.
Check.
Let's make a sound, make a sound.
Check.
Okay, sorry.
Microphone check. Thank you. Madam President, I'd like to inform you, I'm pleased to inform that we are duly constituted to begin the second session of conference, annual conference, or 54th conference. Over to you, Madam.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues all, good afternoon. At this time, we will begin the second session of Conference 2018. And our agenda at this time calls for answers to questions and questions. But since there were no questions, we will have no answers at this time. And I'm asking in the same breath, do we have questions? Are there any questions? So, we have no question. And so at this time, we move to the notices of motion. Notices of motion. We therefore now then, colleagues, move to the annual report. I ask us to remain as much as possible in our chairs, as receptive as we can, in respect to our Secretary General as he presents the annual report.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, President-elect, IPP,
delegates, trustees, observers, media personnel, friends of the JTA, good afternoon. We apologize for the late start of the session because clearly, as you know, we're having some logistical problem in terms of you getting your room or facility to get to lunch and so on. So we note the delay. We're going to try as much as possible to report, but at the same time try to keep it in the time that is originally allotted so we can close the session on time. So it suggests that I will have to, I will skip through some of the items, not that they're not important, but some clearly are more important than others. I therefore take great pleasure in presenting the annual report for 2017-2018 and make the point that essentially it's accounting for my stewardship as leader, but more so the collective responsibility of the administrative staff of the Jamaica Teachers Association. And I want to feel that a big part of what we have achieved would be directly related to you as volunteers. And therefore I ask you, even before I start formally, to put your hands together for all our volunteers. Madam President, I am very pleased and satisfied to report that the Jamaica Teachers Association is alive and well. Its potency, relevance, and effectiveness were severely tested during the period under review. But thanks be to God, we kept our focus, stridently defended our cause, and we can confidently say we are stronger and better for the experience. Remain even more resolved to continue the struggle that our founding fathers bequeathed to us, and pledge that we will never surrender nor retreat. I therefore take great pleasure in extending a warm welcome to all our delegates, observers and special guests, exhibitors, members of the media, friends and well-wishers of the Jamaica Teachers Association to this, our 54th annual conference. We are eternally grateful for the level of support and valuable contributions that we receive throughout the year. We cannot overemphasize the impact that our volunteers make on our various programs and activities. To state it quite bluntly, the association could not have survived without the contribution and involvement of our volunteers. We must also acknowledge and applaud those who partnered with us in one way or another by providing sponsorship or allowing us to give support and endorsement to their own activities. To refer to the year under review as a very challenging one would be an understatement, because the negotiation for salaries and conditions of service took up most of our time and significantly stretched our resources. Despite these very testing experiences, we never wilted or lost focus. We kept reminding ourselves that we're in the struggle for the long haul. In the end, colleagues, the rewards might not satisfy us, but we can feel contented that we fought a good fight, and nobody can ever take us for granted. Of course, most of our members would have wanted more. Some even felt that we were not taking drastic enough actions to let government realize how serious we were. Some even went off in directions that could lead to self-destruction, that of attacking leadership. But no one can say that the Jamaica Teachers Association is not a democratic organization, because we allowed persons to express their views freely. Let it never be said that we lacked leadership at any time during the struggle. Our president, Georgia War Richards, stood tall as a fearless and no-nonsense leader. A true professional that was articulate and impressive as she represented the cause of our members and did so very well. We can conclude that, Madam President, you were the right person serving at the right time. Colleagues, we are happy that most of our planned activities were implemented, but more so, implemented successfully. Some even significantly surpassed expectations. We speak more directly to these, or we will speak more directly to these as the report goes on. We can heartily commend our volunteers, equally applaud and salute our paid staff at all levels. They remain loyal and faithful in the execution of their duties. Their commitment and stability ensured the successes that we can boast about. We were very pleased to welcome on board in January 2018, Dr. Margaret Chin as Assistant Secretary General Professional Services. We are satisfied with Dr. Chin's performance and as such have confirmed her as a permanent member of staff as of July 1, 2018. We look forward, Dr. Chin, to many years of quality service from you. This, our 54th annual conference, is a signal recognition of the fact that the association has remained true to our founding fathers' vision and mission, and it is to our credit that we have not missed an annual conference since our inception. Our conference theme, promoting the teaching profession, a beacon of hope and inspiration to our nation, will provide opportunities for us as professionals to rekindle the flame of that burning passion for excellence as a hallmark of a true professional, thus ensuring that quality persons are attracted to and remain in the profession. The theme is therefore timely and relevant as we seek to engender goodwill and support for the education sector, which must be seen as imperative if the economy is to grow and the country is to prosper. As we come to reflect, strategize, and plan for the future, it is my hope that you, the delegates, will enrich our debates and deliberations with ideas and resolutions that will advance the cause of building a strong and responsive association that caters to the needs and aspirations of our members. As we participate in this conference, the words of former U.S. President John F. Kennedy comes to mind. Therefore, I rephrase it to suit our context. Ask not what the JTA can do for you, but what you can do for the JTA. We look forward to your vibrant and full participation over the next 3 days. There is a reflection, colleagues, of what took place at our 53rd annual conference, and you will see a much younger looking Georgia and an equally younger looking Howard as they participated in lighting the candle. And that light has led us throughout the year. We would have noted all the recipients of the awards, and interestingly, we just again applaud them because they continue to serve in different ways as volunteers within the organization. In terms of governance of the association, we pretty much lay out the structure here and say that you colleagues at our annual conference, this is where it really matters. And this is the strongest and most powerful part of our organization. So we have the administrative structure in terms of paid staff. We have our officers who are our presidents, 1, 2, 3. And we have General Council, Central Executive, the committees, and collectively we cause things to happen at the JTA. In terms of General Council, in the absence of an annual or a special conference, General Council will be the one that ensures that things happen. We have given here the structure, who should make up the General Council, where they come from, and we made the point that we encourage all the affiliates and related groups to ensure that they have representation or representatives in these bodies, because there's a tendency, colleagues, when you are not there, or when decisions are made that you're not very happy or comfortable with, you like to say them there. Others took it and tried to wash your hands clean of what happened. We are collectively embracing our structure and ask that each representative group ensures that they have their nominations carried through. We have also noted, and we applaud you, yes, volunteers, but the truth is that when you say, I will and I take on the responsibility, that it is expected that despite the challenges associated, that you'll try and attend meetings on a regular basis, and you will see the attendance for General Council. Clearly we would have wanted more persons to be in attendance. Central Executive pretty much carry out directives from General Council, and it is made up mainly of the parish presidents and the chairpersons of committees, along with our trustees. And you will know they meet pretty much in months that council does meet, and again we give the attendance there. I would say there is much need for improvement in that regard. Central Executive meets on a Friday, General Council meets on a Saturday. It means therefore that those of you who take on leadership, parish presidents and so on, will have to be absent from your institution at least once per month, or a little less than that, depends on how we configure council and senates, but we would want your administrators to know and therefore plan for your absences. Parish and district associations, I would quickly hurry to say that the district association is the bloodline, the heart of the association. And vibrancy across the island depends on how vibrant our district associations are. Informed membership depends on how informed the district associations are. Interested members depends on what is happening at the district association level. And there are some persons who are wanting to be part of the association, but sometimes not prepared to go to district association meetings and get involved. Again, we say to you, if the heartbeat is there, then it means that you need to be part of it. We also note, and over the years we have seen bright stars who sometimes would have not be seen on the light or on the landscape because they would decline and deny that they're not ready yet. And once they get a chance to soar, they do so with great almost achievement and excellent to the point that some surprise themselves. I don't need to tell you we have 14 parishes. Clearly we do, and therefore we have 14 parish presidents. And the presidents of the parish form part of Central Executive. We have 76 district associations, and therefore each district association has membership on the General Council and is expected to keep the association alive. We repeat probably a line we carry most times, that we encourage the president-elect system both at the parish and at the district association level. We do not have term limits in the strictest sense, but once we have the president-elect system, it means that essentially there's some control, there is some revolving of the leadership. And I made the point that many of us probably just said, no, not me. And then we are thrown, sometimes flung into leadership. you really do a good job. So we are encouraging persons to be involved, and we are encouraging persons to allow some other persons to get a chance to lead. Standing on our committees form the core national activities. The president, sitting president at the time, wrote their mandate through the committees, and it is the committees that take it, and as they say in Jamaica, not the best phrase to use, and run with it. We want to say that our committees play an important role. Most committees meet on a Saturday, and I know some of our persons who are seven-day worshippers would want to participate more, and that poses a challenge, but it's sometimes a difficult balancing act, because if we have to take you out of school to have it in a week, it means that your class or your school is going to suffer, and we don't want our active JTA members to be enemies of the school. I know sometimes some of you have challenges with your administration. Not that they don't like you, but they're tired of you leaving. And therefore you have a little bit of a challenge here. But Saturdays, thank God, are your days, and nobody can tell you where to go unless you have other domestic commitments. So we try to do the balancing, and we appreciate those who can fall in line and assist us. There are some committees like finance and so on, property, meet in the week, and those persons are involved. A critical area of the association's activity is the association finances. And we have stated there what happens in terms of our finances, but want to reiterate that our almost only sure source of finances is the membership dues. And it is your 1% that collectively pooled that makes the difference. And therefore we value your membership, both in terms of what you give, in monetary gift and other contribution. The Secretary General ultimately has a responsibility in terms of accountability for the finances of the association, but there are structures in place. There's a finance committee, and there's an accounting department headed by a chief accountant, and we have auditors, external auditors who audit our accounts to make sure that we are on track. And I'm happy to report, and later on this afternoon, the auditors will come and verify that our accounts are in order. In terms of our doing business together, we present what is called a consolidated financial statement for conference, one that is coming from the JPH, Jamaica Publishing House, which is our wholly owned subsidiary, and it links with the association main accounts for a consolidated financial statement. But on the JTA side by itself, we are in good standing. And on the JPH side, we are even better standing. So all is well. Colleagues, I hope the day is very near when this item, financial irregularities, will probably mean something else, if ever listed. But until all is well, we will have to continue to carry this item. And you know, when we say financial irregularities, we are referring to the 2013 discovery of a fraud of the association finances close to $100,000. $100 million. All right? And linked with the fraud would be some properties that it is believed one of the main culprits would have used our resources to buy. And we have some properties listed that we are in the process of getting it back. In fact, the courts had awarded them to the association, but we got into issues of transfer tax. And we asked the question, should we pay to transfer what is ours? And therefore we got into some handled through the courts and through tax administration. And we are happy to report that tax administration has agreed that the possession is ours. And it is our resources that have purchased it. And therefore we do not have to pay for the transfer. I was hoping, my colleagues, that I would be able to hold up the titles of these properties at conference today. I am not able to do so, but I'm almost 99% confident that very soon I'll be able to take it to a meeting and say, these are ours. Property at lot 19B, Chancery Hall, Kingston 19. Property lot 17, Cooper's Hill. Property lot 154, Keystone Farms. All right? And one is St. Catherine, one is St. Andrew. Well, two of them are in Kingston and St. Andrew. They are prime properties, and there are some others that are linked with Marlon Francis et al., meaning him and his family, them and his cronies there. Yeah? And because those were appealed through their lawyer, we are working through a process to see if we can treat with the matter. Colleagues, we keep saying it, but I repeat it because some people feel so angry that if we catch a culprit, we would take violent action against it. Even if we do that, that doesn't give us the property. And therefore we have to be rational, and there is a criminal side, and there's another side in terms of recovering the property. So the criminal side in terms of theft, until we find the person, we can't prosecute, but we are doing all we can to get back our resources. Administration, HR, and finance, and I'm referring to that department, and saying much of what goes on a day-to-day basis is carried through the administration, human resource, and finance department, or unit, and that unit is headed by Dr. Charmin Goodin Monteith. We would have started the year with clearly trying to answer the president's mandate, and also there are some routine things that we do, and part of the mode we are in is not change for change's sake, but trying to improve on what we did in the past in a better way. And so the objectives of the associations are effectively and efficiently implemented, executed through this department. Central executive training is one such early in the day, and we are making the point that those who lead do a better job if they are equipped so to do. And training took place, and one of the features of the last training activity is that it was implemented or carried out by the admin staff persons, and all staff members played a part in the training. No external persons were involved, and persons thought that the training exercise was very useful and beneficial. We also have leadership training for the parish and district association officers, and the essence of it is that persons feel better because they are equipped to manage things in their DAs and in their parishes. One of the strong negatives in any organization is poorly run meetings, and people are busy and really don't have time to waste, feel frustrated if they are not properly planned for, not necessarily catered for in terms of their own peculiarities, but at least they see a structure in place and a plan and great efforts made to achieve that. And I think most, if not all, the parishes would have benefited from the training, and their implementation strategies would have benefited from it. We also buttress as best as we can new teachers, where we want to scaffold them into the profession and give them all the support that they need. And we feel that a good dose of JTA, medicine from day one, makes you that much a better teacher. And so, colleagues, we would have engaged our new teachers, and we had 555 of them coming, and although you see 283 been members. Some of them joined up before they came for the training, so the numbers you see there are those we recruited at the training session. Sometimes we are not able to get the ministry or the person has to pick up because until they have a teacher's number, the deduction cannot take place, and therefore sometimes they slip through. But membership has been on the ball, and we think we have captured a significant number of our new members. We made the point also, yes, that our new teachers are excited, and sometimes they're not even sure who the boss, because they hear so much from us that they're telling us all the things that they need. And we have to say, sorry, we are not your employers. We are your supporters and defenders, but we'll make a case for you. The suggestion was made, we weren't able to do it, that our new teachers would benefit from a second dose of treatment from the JTA. In other words, have a follow-up meeting with them, having given them an idea, let them tell us what's happening in the field. That might be a desire or goal that we want to achieve coming during this conference here. Contact teachers training, colleagues. In some jurisdictions, they refer to the contact teachers as shop stewards. Essentially, the persons on the ground, in the schools, making the connections. So while I thank you, and I'm saying it with all the force I can, I want to say that those who are our contact teachers must be 100% loyal to the Jamaica Teachers Association. You cannot sell my product if you don't believe in it. You cannot be my voice at the workplace if you badmouthing me. And therefore, and I repeat, we are a democratic organization. Seek not to silence anybody, but there's a time and a place for everything. We made the point also, because in some schools, efforts are made to select or pick contact teachers. It's a democratic process, and contact teachers must be voted for by the members of staff. Even if it's the same teacher for the last 20 years, it must not be given to anybody. They must line up, put up them hand nominated, voted for. And they are accountable to you. I know some of them get lick and take lick because of the JTA. And we thank you for it. And we say we are available to provide support for you. But I just want to say that, again, in the whole line of training and development, an informed contact teacher must be an asset to the association and to your school. If you have to hear it from somebody else and them don't know, it might be time for you to consider another contact teacher. We also, through this department, write to you to me in the school, to your principals, and ask for the formal name to be communicated to us so that we can have the information that we don't just say contact teacher at school A, but we can call you by name, have a number for you, because we want to get it almost one-on-one. And we had training sessions, and it is listed there. Now, I'm a very privileged man, and I give God thanks for that, because I was the only man who went to the women's conference. So I just want to commend. I mean, there were some other men, but they were doing some other things. All right? But I just want to commend the women's grouping for a wonderful conference. Because they were so kind to me, I left early. So that they could have their dialogue and discussion without any man listening to them. And what I hear is that they are even more empowered. And I know that an empowered woman is a powerful woman. I can't say anything else, but I just say more power to our ladies. And one of the agenda, it's not hidden, is that we want we believe that an organization that has pretty much about 90% female need to churn out more leadership at the level of Georgia Warwickshire level for the women. And I don't have to go to a women's caucus to say that. I am saying that as a man. We feel good when the women. Am I speaking for all the men? I can say this but I just want to say, ladies, this is our profession. And the women who have served us well in the past. Let us continue to promote leadership among our women. They're not just secretaries and note takers. They have a powerful role to play. Scholarship Plan 1, happy to report that we made our scholarship awards during the year. And young lady, Renisha Reed, most recent to me last year, Aubrey Fleece Memorial Scholarship winner, got her scholarship, went to Hampton High School, Hampton High School in St. Elizabeth. And after her first year, she emerged with an average of 87%. So we just want to commend her, and I think she was second in her form. So we're getting it right, and she's doing very well. And the others who are awarded, I know they are doing well. JTA on a roll, you will see the photograph, pictures of our president smiling with our president, JTA Co-op Credit Union, two-time past president, Paul Adams. He was the recipient of the honor roll. Wonderful ceremony, and we give God thanks for what went on there. Education Week is at Ocho Baptist Church with an equally powerful and eloquent speaker, Dr. Virgil Taylor, who did a great job. We commend Northeast Region for hosting a good church service. Followed by that, we have the Education Symposium, and I cannot know it, so I'm not even reading it. But one of the things that jumped out readily at the symposium is that Manchester, which didn't get rain for a little while, heard that the rest of the island was coming. And it rained from the night before. But guess what? The teachers from across the island came out. And I'm saying that is the kind of spirit that we must have, that nothing is going to stop us. This is our business, our thing, and we are seeking, as it were, empowerment, and therefore education went full circle on that day, and the teachers were there. You see, if you look good, you might see you in the crowd, but we had a good day, and we commend the Education and Research Committee for a good job. Read Across Jamaica Day also came off very well. There was a little bit of a diversification this year where the presidents, and we only have 3, and we had a mathematical challenge because we have 4 regions. So we borrow a past president turned regional officer. And so Clayton Hall held the West, and I know he went to an infant school to read. But our president went to Manchester, Northwest Manchester, and she went back to a little place that the road is getting narrower, Comfort Hall, and she went to her old school. I say that purposely, colleagues, because sometimes we tend to forget where we're coming from. And the little, not so attractive school perhaps at that time that we went to, and the whatever, and the little teacher them, we must never ever forget where we're coming from and where we must be. So Georgia found her way back home. But she went to some other places, in central Manchester, and on the border of Manchester, Clarendon, Scott's Pass, down in Clarendon. And you will see, I think, a picture in the magazine with the principal, proud principal, First time seeing a president at his school rather. Our president-elect went to Southeast along with the team, and some schools there benefited and saw him. So Mr. Simmons gave him kudos there. And our president, immediate past president, stayed close to home and went to Port Maria, and along with Mr. Meek. And so I'm asking us to collectively recognize, along with the team that went, Dr. Bulimonti, Mr. Nash, Mr. Dixon went to the South Central region.
Dr. Chin.
And Dr. Chin was north, southeast.
Yes, Southeast.
And Claudia.
Yeah.
See, I'm gonna get problem if I don't call all the names.
Mr. Benji.
And Mr. Benji, of course.
Yes, yes.
How could I leave him out?
No, not at all.
Not at all. So, yeah man, I called Mr. Dixon already. Actually, you see him reading there, so he has improved tremendously. I hope he's not here. So colleagues, Education Week from that angle was quite good. And we made the point that all the schools we visited, we left a package of books for the school. And they are very appreciative for it. And I just make a point that the JPH contributed to the books that were given to the schools. Perhaps the last item on, well not last, but there are two major activities during Education Week. Teachers Day, that one went off quite well. And from a positive feedback we got, we're all drinking tea now. And essentially very appreciative of the token that was given. And we say thanks to those who chose it and to those who make it possible. I know someone asking about an incomplete item. Still working on it. Still working on it. And you might be surprised, you might get it soon in your school. But some persons, if they get the cases, we can't totally accept responsibility. We were promised, and the dealers have not yet delivered. Just to tell you, we have been quite prudent. We have not paid them all the money. So then until they deliver, they are not going to get the rest of the money. President-elect elections. Sorry, no. I would have missed something, and I think it might be somewhere else. But yeah, Helen Stills, I'll take it here. Helen Stills form a part of Education Week, but it's also a big chunk in the professional services unit. Helen Stills Day was held at Grand, pretty next door to here. Grand, Jewel Grand. First time we're going there, it's really grand. Really grand, but the ballroom is a bit small, and therefore we could not accommodate more than just about 285 teachers. But they were, is there such a word, Mrs. Wilmot, grandly treated? No, but they were regally treated. But I'm using it not so much in terms of ambience or anything, but in terms of quality presentation. So we commend you for that. And I move quickly to the president-elect elections. You would say, thank God it's over. It was hot and exciting, and sometimes the temperature rose. But all is well, and speed is well.
Here, here.
So we just want to commend all those who are involved in the elections. David Powell, take a bow.
Here, here.
Joshua Gabriel,
Here, here.
take a bow. Will Mullins, and Mr. Speed. I think you need to stand up and let them see you. Can we applaud for that? He said he's going to slow down now. Thank you. Thank you. Colleagues, the JTA is not just tradition. The JTA is rich tradition.
Love that, love that.
The JTA is tradition of integrity.
Yeah.
The JTA is tradition of trying to lift things a notch higher so that persons can look to us.
Yeah.
And the teachers nationally play a significant role in national elections.
That's right.
We can run our election and run it well.
Here.
And there are some concerns we have. We're not going to talk about them today, but we are doing things internally so that next time around, we're all going to be running in the same lane, because it is one love, it is one JTA, and at the end, we are building only our profession. We commend all those who received the Prime Minister's Medal of Appreciation for contribution to education, and chief among them would be our President, incoming President, Dr. Garth Anderson. We commend them for that. Other persons were named on Independence Day for awards, and we commend not many of our colleagues that we can readily recognize, but we commend all those who received awards. We made the point that the next one is the Golden Torch, and because I'm giving the report, I don't want to give the impression that I'm just saying, oh, this is when I'm reporting of ourselves. But we need to be proud of ourselves. We had a wonderful function. It went very well. We had 147 or 48 recipients. But there's a kind of pride that our Golden Torches walk up with and carry. And they have fully embraced the award. Yeah? And they feel good about it. And Ray Howell was the one who went to bed one night, slept a little longer than usual, and dreamt about it. We applaud Ray for that vision. So in conclusion of the Admin HR department, just want to thank the department for a good year. Say to them, like everything else, there's always room for improvement. We are conscious of it, they are working on it, and we hope we get better going forward. Can we commend that unit, please? Member Service and Industrial Relations Unit. That unit is headed by Dr. Mark Nicely. The Jamaica Teachers Association is a member-based organization. All that we are and ever seek to be is going to be achieved on behalf of our members and for our members and by our members. The hardcore reality is that without our members, as Tom Jones says, we are nothing at all. And so we just want to do all that we can to promote membership. Once we have our members, to make them happy and to serve them well. We also want to link any commendation for the membership unit has to be for the membership committee. This year would have been led by Sandro Hunter. And one of the things about the membership committee is that each parish is asked to name a membership person. So nobody vote for them. You choose who you want to represent your parish, and all the parishes would have been well represented and served by their membership person. Yes, I want to commend them for that. We give you a breakdown of our membership, and therefore you know who we are, but the full members are the ones who we depend on strongly. Associate, we do not fully represent all their interests, but we thank them for their membership, and we are continuing to encourage students and retired members to be part of it. And just as I mentioned retired members, I had the opportunity to go to the Retired Teachers Convention in Runaway Bay in July, early July, and it was well attended, and the retired teachers look like they get stronger when they retire, and they had a level of vibrancy and good spirit, but all of them sang the praises of the JTA. They wish though we could negotiate for their benefit in terms of pension, and I tell them that they have one major liability: they can't strike. But we continue to advocate on behalf of our pensioners, more so in terms of their health benefits. The Member Services Unit would have been involved in a number of activities. Terms and conditions of service, which took up a lot of our time, 50% reform, tertiary grant, pension reform, and a list is given there. And no matter the 50% refund, that's work in progress. Every month we report on it, and the ministry has been not as quick in coming up with the money, but I know in July they have paid out over $19 million to deserving teachers. And we ask you colleagues again to make sure that you make that claim. The tertiary grant, not as smooth a process as we would like. We did what we had to do on our part, but the Ministry of Education slowed down the process, more so in terms of paying over the money. I can't honestly say if it was paid, but I got an assurance from the ministry that the payment would have been made to the institution by Friday of last week. And because our principals here don't manage the bursary, I won't ask if the money is there. But I hope it is there, because we kept getting complaints from some of the parents, beneficiaries, some of the institutions like to sometimes be less than kind to people who are getting state or related benefits and almost want to diss them. So we just want to tidy that up. We are proposing, as you will see, that JTA be given more and more responsibility for the process, and the fact that it has become a permanent feature. And I just want us to know that going forward out of the salary negotiation, tertiary grant is permanent feature of the association activity, so we can set the time, yeah, and we are saying from now that during September, that's when we're going to be doing the applications, and the processing will follow thereafter. So you don't have to ask JTA when the forms will be available. I will want to feel Dr. Nicely by the first Monday in September for the tertiary grant, so that persons can, if possible, start to pick up the forms. And the way we are trying to run things, colleagues, don't form come ahead of anybody, and don't form take after anybody. We have deadlines, and we're going to operate within those confines. Favors and so on, I'm not very comfortable with. So let's stick with the deadlines. Membership cards, I know we have been swiping it. I know money not coming up. But most persons are happy with their membership cards. I know there are a number of unhappy people, and you're not going to tell me about it today. We are working on it, and we are hoping that by the first week in September you will have it. It might be so long, but we can't print one card, go through a process, so we are banking up. The last time we checked, we probably have about 300 plus cards to print. And sometimes we submit and it, I don't know, it, maybe the thing don't like your name, it come out without your name. I don't know if that's how it works, but it's a little bit picky sometimes and don't pick some names. So we work on it, and we ask you to make this point I want to make, that any matter related to your card should be reported through your regional office. Regional office, not so much the central office, because we work through them. Pension reform, that has been implemented, and colleagues, you are now paying 1% of your salary every month, started in June, and it's going to continue till it reaches 5% over the next 5 years. And it is on, we have told you what it's on the pensionary emoluments. We tell you what pensionary emoluments are, so that you have a fair idea. We got the ministry to send out circulars because some of the Bursa schools, people were taking out what they shouldn't take out, and the little that you don't have already, they were wanting to take out of it. So that, I believe, is regulated and should not be a problem. There are some concerns we have, colleagues, and we are trying to deal with it. I need to tell you up front, because it's something we're struggling with, that other persons in the public sector go on leave based on their earned vacation leave. And their birthday becomes their official retirement day. So put another way, their leave that we call pre-retirement leave is genuinely pre-retirement. For the teachers, the practice over the years has been, and I've been talking to them and not using pre-retirement, I call it earned vacation leave. Because they are arguing that if it is pre, it should be before. And so letters have been sent out to some schools and persons that the leave goes before the 8 months, if you're entitled to, or whatever portion, and therefore at the end, when you reach whatever the qualifying year, 60, 61, whatever, that's the day of your last day of your leave. However, they are trying to keep the school terms so that it doesn't create too much problem in the system, and therefore nobody will be sent off in the middle of the term, either 1st of January, 1st September, 1st of May. We have been in some discussion about a transitionary period, and we are not saying we have achieved that yet, but there are some discussion going on. But in fact, we're kind of getting into some discussion. I don't necessarily want to get into all the details because I'm not releasing all the information. But I'm asking for documentation. You are demanding certain things from us. Show us where it is written. And that's the kind of line we are following, but that's what we are sharing with you. There are some other things with pension colleagues, city concerns, and we will hopefully address them as we go along. I'm moving along quickly to speak about salaries and conditions of service. There will be a full report given by the committee tomorrow. Mr. Howell, tomorrow? Yes, session before lunch, and therefore I won't go into any detail except to say that we signed an agreement on the 16th of May, 2018. And we signed it based on a democratic process. There might be disappointments, but we need to be fair and honest. We arrived at it by the collective will, or wisdom, or lack thereof, of the teachers. No group met in anywhere and signed anything. It was all in the public space, perhaps too much in the public space, that before we leave some of the meetings, they were all over the place and everybody come to conclusion and sending all information back to the same government who tell you how it goes. So we know what's going on there because we all get crazy with social media and everybody knows the teacher's business, but not many teachers know other people's business. Colleagues, that is what it is for whatever it is. And we must be man enough to stand up and say we signed it, not because we are happy, but to reach a point where that was where we reached and took a decision. We also concluded a couple of Fridays ago an agreement on behalf of Heart NTA. And before you ask the question, I'll answer it. You will see slight difference in percentages for Heart. But Heart is not considered like public sector teachers. They work under different guidelines, and some of the benefits that they have, teachers don't have. And some of the benefits that teachers have, they don't have. For example, they did not get the one-off $15,000. They do not get holidays and so on like teachers get it. They operate like an executive agency. Their funding is different, and therefore, yes, Ministry of Finance have to get clearance for the changes. But it's not the same cake that we are partaking of. Liaison officer is part of the member services unit. And in this case, we're not reporting about a person, but the officer at this point is Claudia McLean, and she's that link between my friend from Trinidad, the link between the Ministry of Education and the Jamaica Teachers Association, where there's an officer paid by the ministry, supported by JTA, whose office resides in the JTA, and that person tries to bridge the gap and sometimes lessen the tension between the ministry and the JTA and help to clear up some of the matters that probably we don't need a meeting for. She also carries the sport portfolio in JTA, and by the time Claudia leaves, she's going to be a great cricketer, wonderful netball player and volleyball player, and athlete. But she's supported by the National Sports Committee, and a good team has carried out and performed a good job during the year. We had to curtail the cricket competition because the interest was not as we would have loved. We had persons almost getting towards the final without playing a match. and that didn't make any sense. In other words, the other team drop out or give points, and we feel that's not worthy of a good competition. So we are rebranding and hope to come better the next time around, and hope we'll have a few supermen making up our team. Teachers Family Fun Day continues to be an important part of our activities, and we're making the point that all work and no play continues to make people dull, and therefore encourages our persons to take time out and to have fun. And our fun day was held in St. Mary. This year, JTA Sagicor Meet was a successful activity, and it went very well. And we commend all the parishes. Yes, St. Andrew might be first, but Hanover is clearly not last. I made the point because they might be 14th, but they're not last. They put a lot in, and we say respect due to both the winners and those who took lesser position along the chain. We commend the member services. One of the things not in my report, but would probably be a balance between resolution and so on, is that there was an activity to look at the Southeast region, division of the Southeast region. There's a report that is shared. You can read it and we can deal with it as we go along, whether in resolution form or as part of my report, but we bring a report to this conference on the activity. So I commend the Member Services Unit for a good year and wish them well going forward. Can we applaud that unit, please? Professional Services Unit, I would have steal a little bit from there, just to make the point that the year started initially in September with Dr. Goodin Monteith straggling 2 portfolios, and she held it for 4 months. Passed on the baton to Dr. Chin in January, and she took it and has kept it going during the year. And so she picked up in March with pre-service program, pre-retirement later on, parenting workshop, and the education conference. Now, and I mentioned the Helen Skills before, but it's also listed there now. The education conference, maybe I should back up a bit and speak about the parenting workshop. It was held in the West, and it was mainly focused on children, parents with children with challenges. And I just want to applaud the association and our leaders and workers who embrace all the challenges, the exceptionalities in the profession. And every time I see somebody, and I hate to want to say sort of sympathy, but when I see somebody with a child with a challenge, and the challenge is not an exceptionality in terms of brightness and brilliance, but things like disability in a sense, and you see how they have to struggle almost all their life is given up because they have to spend it with a child. One just have to realize that how grateful we ought to be that we who believe we are okay are okay. Okay? So we commend them and the focus on those parents, and we have tremendous support. Parents and children in the West this year. The education conference, colleagues, was again tremendous success. A tremendous success. The quality was extremely high, and the diet was refreshing. And we had one major problem. It's a logistic problem. But things went so well on the other side that people forget about it. And those who have bought our glasses have since thrown them away. And all is well. We again not trivializing it. We're just knowing that there are some things we have to do going forward. And we pledge ourselves that we're going to make it better the next time around in terms of the logistical arrangement, but the quality of the conference was excellent. We know in terms of pre-retirement, the numbers of participants up and down, but we continue to empower members in that regard. So ladies and gentlemen, it would have been probably just about 6 months, Dr. Chin, but the start was good. We commended professional, what's the unit called again? Professional, no, not the unit, PS, yeah. Yeah, Professional Advancement Committee, yeah, PAC, and Dr. Chin and the team for a good job. Let's hear it for them, please. Move to the next department, and I'm getting there. Property Publishing and Business Services. This unit is headed by Mrs. Claudia Ferguson, and they are the ones who look after our properties, deal with JPH and other business-related activities. Now there's one region, the Northeast region, that we have been trying to acquire and come up with a regional office that looks like the rest of the JTA. And we have acquired property in Little Bay, and we are in the process of trying to reconfigure the building. We have a commitment, perhaps a little shifting commitment, but there is almost nothing that is going to stop us from advancing that cause right after conference. We have engaged some persons, and we are just waiting on some documentation, but we have a commitment. And we are told that once we get started within 4 to 5 months, the work can be completed. So I am saying, next year this time, we shall be reporting and showing you a picture of the completed regional office with Devon Meek sitting at his desk. And all the people on that part of the island extremely happy. And it is now hopefully it is going to happen. Speak it into being, because we are there. We have upgraded, for those of you who visited 97 Beecher Street, the foyer of the JTA. Yes? Yes. And we are happy that when you walk in, you will feel that you're coming into your place and your space. Educational tour, that becomes a feature. There was one to Disney, and there was one recently to Morocco, Gibraltar, thank you, Portugal, and Spain, and France. Every time I say Spain, I remember a guy named Christopher Columbus. And he wasn't sure where he came. I hope those who went sure where they went. But our president was quite intrigued looking for Columbus's grave, and they still can't find it in Spain. 5 different places I'm told he's buried. Yes, but essentially there was a good tour, and one of the good things about the tour is that it was a safe tour. All the persons went, came back, and in good spirit, and we commend Mrs. Ferguson and the team for a good tour. Travel and Wellness is alive, and they had their getaway at Iberia Star last October. They also had their pre-Valentine mix-up, and that was successful. We had a successful investment seminar, not so much in terms of profit, but in terms of information and empowerment to our members. And I'm sure now that the dollar is fluctuating. Yes, you might better understand some of the terms, and while your dollar remains, well, not so safe in your wallets, you will understand the terms, and where you put it, you might think twice as you invest. Again, we talk about empowerment, and we have been doing that successfully. Jamaica Publishing House has been doing a good job, had a good year, and they will give their formal report tomorrow, except to say that it has been a profitable year for them. So in essence, colleagues, the property unit has kept our properties in good shape. We'll come to a particular item that is also a property item, but we just want to commend Mrs. Ferguson and the team for a good year. Communication and public relations, that unit in terms of responsibility, the communication officer is Mr. Leon Nash. And I'm sure you'll hear that voice on a Sunday afternoon at home. And pretty much one of our major activities is our teacher's time here every Sunday afternoon. We share the program with the credit union and ourselves, and we have been doing good at that. You will see the information there in terms of market survey, in terms of listenership, and I would say we hold our own reasonably well along with the station on a Sunday afternoon. The website, I heard somebody referring to the website, that they went on the JTA website and they were surprised. So it's my friend from Trinidad to see the many things on the JTA website and the things that we are doing. And therefore, I'm sure, like everything else, a lot of room for improvement, currency, relevancy, and so on, but it's work in progress. The app, up and down, we have to be going through a little teething pain again because there are some changes on the landscape, and we are working through that. We had a dream of publishing 2 Clarions. We were successful in publishing 1, and we improved the quality in terms of production and the quantity. And most of them, I believe, all of them should be out in the schools, and we commend the PR committee and the persons involved in that activity. PR committee was very visible during the year, yes? And they made sure that the JT activities was also shown, advertised, promoted island-wide. And if you have a chance to get on their page in terms of their WhatsApp page, it seems as if they don't sleep. They are constantly on it, and we commend the PR committee led by Kadia McCullough-Wilkes and all the members of the team for a good year. So I'm commending PR team, but conceding that we still have a lot of work to do because the JTA must be seen for what we are, impacting positively the education landscape in this country and beyond. We had a, tired of using the word good, but it looks like that's what it is, good ceremony in the South Central region, and we named, some say name, some say rename, significantly same difference because the office didn't have a name by a person, but we named the office in honor of our past presidents, past regional officers. Mr. Dundee Hewitt, still alive, 90 plus I believe and going, and Mr. Juno Gale, who unfortunately passed last year. We had a great function, well supported, and I think you'll see a picture of the office in the snapshots relative to conference. So we commend South Central Regional Officer, Dixon and his team, and the property committee for that particular activity. Our meeting continues with the Ministry of Education, and you would have heard former PS relieving herself, and they say confession is always good for the soul. And Wednesday we're going to see some others, I say it respectfully, and a little confession might also be good from them too, but they are on the job. So we continue to have a good relationship with the Ministry of Education. And colleagues, when we say that, sometimes people feel that you're softening up to them and you're playing and pally with them. Nothing like that. We sit across the table like man, irrespective of who is the president, like adults, mature people, and we talk and we argue about issues, not persons and personalities. And we tell Minister how we feel. And Minister don't want to tell us all the time how we feel because he needs us to be in his corner. But we tell him how we feel, and benefits for teachers that are promised must be delivered on time. And we're not compromising on that. And we also ask you to tell us how you feel. We ask you to tell us the things you want us to talk about. And we are happy to report, and the records show that the list you give us, we carry to the ministry, and we can prove that they have been acted on. So the results are there, colleagues. We are not sitting down, we're not, in a very simplistic way, persons see us receiving a little Christmas card from the minister and then see it as sellout. We can't be that naive and simple, colleagues. We are big and strong and we're not afraid of nobody.
That's right. That's right.
International relations, we continue to enjoy good international relations, participating in EI-CUT activities. Our president was busy traveling, CUT, EI activities, AFT activities. We shared CUT more ways than one during the year, and we had not just our president, but our Deputy Secretary General Gordon Monteith going. We also had our PAC chair and our international relationship chair, Plummer and Clark, going. And we also note, not directly related to the report, but we also embrace our IPP as second vice president CUT, and that's part of our international branding. Congratulations. We extend congratulations to our colleagues who were honored or recognized in some way or the other during the year. We recognize Golden Touch awardees, Honor Roll awardees, and the different JTA awards. So we'll be given tomorrow night R.C. Tavares, Edith Alton James, and the Ben Horton Award. We are very happy to report that Aubrey Phillips Scholarship, which is a Manchester-based scholarship, the recipient is a student from Christiana Lee's Primary, an infant. And that's DeAndre Wellington. I know he's the nephew of Mr. Wellington, Principal of States. So it is part of the family. And he will be going to Manchester High School. And the award is $100,000 per year. We give them for 5 years. If they do very well in arts, we continue to sixth form for another 2 years. And we have students who have done exceptionally well, and they are proud that they benefited from the JTA input in their life. The Secretariat, persons who gave quality service must never be taken for granted. We here at the JTA are fortunate to have a qualified and committed team of workers, and most of whom are prepared to go the extra mile for the sake of the association. We therefore wish to acknowledge their dedication to duty and must thank them for their work throughout the year. Collectively, you are a good team, and hence our achievements. Yes, I ask you to applaud our staff, and I'm speaking from security right up the ladder. Conclusion. When you come to the end of a challenging year like this one, we must concede that we're kept through it all by sheer gut and determination, and kept by the mercies of God. We were tested. We huddled even closer and kept our focus because we believe our cause is a fair and just one. I acknowledge and say thanks to those who made it possible. You, all loyal members and willing volunteers, must gain pride of place, because indeed you made the difference. To those who were frontline leaders, district association, parish association, president and leaders, those who serve as contact teachers, committee members, to the many who just stood up for the association, and when we came under pressure. And when we are under pressure, president on the air, under pressure, and you get a call and just say, tell the president I was trying to get her. Just keep on going, we are there with you. It makes a difference. We say a big thank you to our going president, a woman of substance, who stood tall, through it all, and did it her way. May the good Lord continue to bless you, madam, and keep you in his hands. To our immediate past president, Mr. Howard Isaacs, we thank you for your 3 years of presidential service. You stood tall and gave the presidential corps the image that mattered in challenging times. As you go, please be assured of our gratitude and appreciation for service rendered and our very best wishes in all that you do. While they can relax and perhaps breathe a sigh of almost relief, one who can't do that just yet is our incoming president, Dr. Gardner. He's waiting. But he can rest assured that we are with him. And through the guiding hand of God and the support of all of us, all will be well. As we bring the activities of yet another year under review to a close, let us remind ourselves that we owe it to our founding fathers to remain faithful to the end. We have achieved much, but there is still much left to be done. Let us pledge ourselves to continue to give of our best for a cause that is bigger than any one of us and all of us combined. May the blessing of the Lord continue to reign upon the Jamaica Teachers Association. And therefore I say, long live the JTA. May God bless us all. May God bless Jamaica land we love as we continue to unite and serve.
Colleagues all, having sat down and having listened to this comprehensive annual report, we can all conclude that the tall man has given good report of his stewardship. Can you put your hands together for him? I therefore ask at this time if there are questions for the Secretary General. The microphones are placed strategically in the room, and so if it is that you have a question for the Secretary, then I ask you to take your position behind one of the microphones. And I can see the member from Central Kingston approaching the microphone, and then the member from St. Andrew, and from Trelawney, in that order. Go ahead, madam. Can we just do a quick switch if it is that we're having difficulty? While he works it out, can you just switch quickly? Okay.
Good afternoon all. I am Melissa Bedford Simpson from Kingston. I have just two very quick points. The first, SecGen, is that you mentioned that you are working towards having a second treat, if you may, for the new teachers. However, I would like to humbly and respectfully suggest perhaps a treatment of the contact teachers as a whole in the same way. Having worked with membership and looked at the contact teachers and sometimes listen to how they feel, perhaps it would be also a good idea to give them a second treat to kind of sweeten the deal, if you want to call it that. Okay, and the second point quickly is that I note the progress report that you have given regarding the creation of the region out of another region out of Southeast. I just want to ask, and I note the financial challenges that you have posed there that would result in the creation of another regional office. However, given the magnitude of the work, which I think had propelled the resolution in the first place, how are we looking to, help with the regional officer with this magnitude of work, since it is that we are not able to have another regional office, so to speak. Those are my...
Thank you, Melissa. Secretary will respond.
Thank you. I'll respond firstly to the contact teachers to say, noted, and I think that view has been shared, not necessarily a follow, but clearly we need to have a meeting with the contact teachers to perhaps iron out some more things. So yes, we are on board with that one. In terms of the regional officer, the truth of the matter, we had meetings, we had the parish president sharing in the discussion, including the regional officer. We had a committee that looked at it, and the major challenge, frankly, that was reported for the region is in terms of the ability of the regional officer to service like district association meetings. And as we shared quite frankly, like in church, if every other officer goes to visit somebody and the person doesn't go, they say they don't get visit from the church. So we know that despite how much help we give a regional officer, unless you see the officer, you don't feel so satisfied. But the point is that we are pledging ourselves even more to be involved. One of the advantages of being head office in the region, regional office in the head office, is that other officers, personnel are available to assist. When a teacher goes to another region and the regional officer is not there, the secretary might try to help, but it's not necessarily the same. In some cases, they also have to link with us at head office to provide answers, but on the spot, there might be one or two other officers who can fit in. So we take the spirit because we do not want the work to be lessened in any way. But when we look at the total picture, and one of the things without getting into other kind of detail, is that there is also the view that there's hardly a point in putting another regional office again in the head office. And some persons were saying you put it like in Spanish Town. But if you're from St. Thomas and you link Kingston and St. Thomas and St. Catherine as a parish or as a region, there seems to be a natural movement towards the urban center for a number of different reasons. So we are not saying it will never happen, but based on what we have reviewed, the need is pretty much in terms of reaching persons using other mediums, and therefore we're going to try as best as we can. I hope it's not just words, but we're going to give support as best as we can to the regional officer. I just don't think Madam President over here.
Lasonia Harrison, Central St. Andrew. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Concerning our 100 million that was defrauded and those properties that have been identified as recovered, is there an estimated value that could be shared of these properties so we can have some idea of what we've recovered? And to date, what's an approximate sum of that 100 million have we recovered? That's my first question. I continue, and you have so noted, concern with the turnout or representation at the council meetings, general council and the central executive. And in light of that, aside from that, I would like to find out how many members of general council were present when we voted to accept our current wage package. You have also noted that the recent salary negotiation was fraught with several challenges, and one of them was communication. Now, part and parcel of the problem is us as teachers, because somehow we can't seem to keep our mouths closed long enough that whatever plans we might have do not get divulged, and so persons are aware of our moves before we even make them. The president, I don't know, part of it is our internal education, because if we say a sick out, I've never heard the Police Federation president come out to say the police going to be sick tomorrow, and I don't know who plans to be sick anyway. You just get sick, you know. And if we're gonna have a sick out, the fact that teachers are asking what they should do.
Speak to the mic, yeah.
No, I wanted to know if we were, the fact that we're having a problem with communication. We're having a serious problem with how it is we internally mobilize, activate, and I think the recent salary negotiations and the or procedure to strike, to go on a strike action, it revealed that we're having a serious communication issue because we were not so able to actively, I say, mobilize all our members because persons were in such questioning and limbo as to what to do and what not to do and how the information was disseminated. So what are the strategies that we are thinking about outside of our usual website, teachers' time, what the Facebook and the contact teacher? How is it that we can, is there a code, whenever it is we're going to go in strike mode, whatever it is that we can send off a signal, and so the teachers are able, they will know clear what it is that we're going to be doing, and so we can be a little bit more effective.
Okay, let me answer the questions quickly. In terms of the value of the properties, I don't have the figures right now. I would, but, and those figures are kind of, everything is relative because it would have been at a point in time. What you call it, real estate continue to appreciate, so chances are it's much more than what it is now. The truth though, based on what I do know, if we were to sell all those properties, we would not fully recover the 100 million. Okay? I'm only saying that. So what I'm trying to say is they will be valued less than that. All right? At this time. So I can't give you a specific because I don't have it to look at. All right? And we would have reported at the last conference or the meetings about how much we have recovered. We have not recovered much in real money terms. We have not recovered anything in recent times. I think we have recovered about 6,000, or was it 2,000 US dollars, something. Not a lot of money, and that was reported probably 2 years ago. We have not recovered any money. Yeah, in fact, we got less than $2 million to our city line arrangement. And that is down the line, we have reported on those. I don't have those figures in my head. I don't have the figure about those who are at General Council, perhaps when the property report, not the property, the salary report is given tomorrow, we might have the figures. But remember that we have, what, 76 days, 100, and I think the figure is here, how many? 100 and something that we make up General Council. Right, so all we are saying that we were duly constituted, and the majority of those who came accepted. So once we fulfill the legal requirements, then we are still within the context of the law. Communication, I would have to say that's work in progress because it depends on what is happening. Let me just give you one scenario. We are, thank you Samuel, the fact that you have social media, you have to use different approaches. There was a time you could call a meeting and talk, and that's it. I am saying to you, right as we sit in the meetings, talking, persons have their phone open and share information to external sources. People scanning documents using their phone and sending it out. And sometimes they're asking if this is true, and you have to find ways not to answer them. Right? And therefore, we decided that some of the things we cannot send it out the way it is sent out. I mean, people can tell you stories, and we're not making them up. of people just sharing in bank line, in this with them friend and family, and it's all over the place. And therefore we just have to try to manage it. I hear you about communication. Some say, I see this, can you verify this? How come the president don't say this and so on? And there are some rules of engagement that has to allow us to protect our functionaries. And therefore one has to appreciate and understand that. I still feel, and that's why I support the view of our sisters here, that we need to get back to our contact teachers. We need to get back to the persons on base, so that when they get, for example, even if it's a WhatsApp message from a particular source, we know it is authentic.
That's right.
All right? So we take the concern that we need to carry out communication, but it's going to be a challenge going forward. I think I would have answered all the questions you asked. One other. Yes.
More than any chairman credentials. The item that speaks to tertiary grant.
Yes.
At the last council, there was the argument that there were some applicants who were still waiting to be verified as to whether the courses were accredited or not.
Yes.
I'm not sure if the number of the 209 include those persons that were still waiting for.
No, the number of 209 doesn't include them. There are just about 30, probably 31, Dr. Nicely? 31 that is to be concluded. But the truth is, and I thought straight, when we told you at the last, I think it was Central Executive Council, that's June, we have not got much beyond that because we had to settle the 209 letters issued, institution properly informed, and just as recent as last week, we were trying to get the payments made. So in other words, you have to get those out of the way before you can go and talk about the ones that they are disputing. What we have done, though, I must tell you, is that in calculating the benefit, which incidentally is 62,500 to each member, we have factored potentially the 30 added there. So it's just a matter of time.
So
And
you
yes.
sense that they're still on the waiting list?
So they are still on the waiting list, but they are counted in. So the 62,500 given to the 209, if the 30 is counted, they would also benefit from the same amount because we had shared up, what is it, 15 million or 10 million to include them. All right?
And you're saying that there is no deadline for us to say whether they will be considered or not, we just wait?
No, yeah, but I don't want to mean wait indefinitely. I'm hoping, Dr. Nice, in the next 2 weeks at least, and that depends on after conference ministry. But we have to work with the ministry and reconcile it.
Thank you.
All right. And I know you have particular and personal interests. We are fully aware, and we are conscious of your need here. Any other questions, if I might take the liberty of asking? Thank you.
Colleagues, now that, sir? Oh, now that we have aired our views and the questions have been answered, can we have a motion for the acceptance? Dr. Polybos Howell, seconded by Alvin McLeod. Thank you very much, colleagues. At this time, all in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. How could we not? At this time, I'm going to be inviting the members of the Finance Committee to take their seats on the platform. Alvin McLeod. Can I invite now the members of the Finance Committee to come? We'll have the presentation of the financial report, and our auditors will also at this time join us with the report and the audited financial statements. Can I ask you to just look into your packages and take out the audited financial statement, because we'll be going through that document at this time. The audited is in your package, the audited financial statement. And any other member of the Finance Committee sitting in the audience, I invite you to come quickly. Colleagues, with us is Ms. We have Mr. Charlton Hilton with us from CR Hilton Chartered Accountants. He is our auditor, and he's going to be taking us through this process. Mr. Hilton, might I invite you to come at this time?
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, with all protocols observed, good afternoon. As your auditor, I wish to present to you our audited report on the financial statements for year ended 31st March 2018. Our audit report is outlined on pages 1 through 3 of the document. And with your permission, I wish to read the opinion paragraph only, which is on the top of page 1 of the 3-page audit report. And it reads as follows. We have audited the financial statements of the Jamaica Teachers Association and the consolidated financial statement of the Jamaica Teachers Association and its subsidiary, which comprise the separate and consolidated statement of financial position as at 31st March 2018, the separate and consolidated statements of comprehensive income, changes in equity and cash flows for the year then ended, and notes comprising significant accounting policies and other explanatory information. In our opinion, the accompanying separate and consolidated financial statements give a true and fair view of the financial position of the association and the group as at 31st March 2018, and of its separated and consolidated financial performance and cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with international financial reporting standards and the Jamaican Companies Act. Essentially, we have issued a clean report, as during the course of our audit, we found nothing that should have prevented this. Having said that, I wish to take you through the major primary statements of the financial statement, and I wish to commence with the consolidated statement of profit or loss, as is found on page 4 of your report. And just a reminder that we're working from this document. I take it that we're there, and therefore I'll proceed to highlight the first line item of that primary statement, being revenue. As is evident by the numbers, revenue grew from 44 million to 52 million over the financial year ended 31st March 2018, representing an 18% increase. This revenue, as you may already know, represents the revenue of the publishing house. Likewise, the cost of this revenue being generated, which is referred to as cost of sales, was reported as being flat year on year, hence reporting a gross profit position of 39 million, being 18% up from the 31 million reported for the previous year. Continuing on the primary statement, next item being members' subscriptions, moving from 375 million to 388 million, representing a 3.5% increase. Other fee income and gains, moving from 42 million to 47 million, details of which is found in note 7 if you're interested, and note 7 has been reported on page 32. This too represented a 12.25% increase in that category of revenue. Continuing down the line, we will skip to loss on other operating accounts, showing a movement from a loss position of 15 million in 2017 to a loss position of 31 million at the end of the 2018 financial year. Details of that is noted in note 31, and this may be found on page 43. I'll pause briefly to give you an opportunity to turn to those pages if you're interested to see what comprise those numbers. Page 43, as it relates to, page 47 as it relates to note 31, and page 32 as it relates to note 7. We will then proceed to highlight the operating expenses line item in the same report, a relatively flat movement, almost insignificant, moving from 430.8 million to 431.3 million. Again, the details of that is noted in note 9, available on page 33. Continuing, these numbers, when added and subtracted from, resulted in a profit position before taxation for the group of $14.6 million, moving from $4 million being reported at the end of the previous financial year, representing an increase of 250% year on year. For that primary statement, those are the major areas of highlight, in my opinion. And should you not have any queries on that page, I will invite you to turn to page 4, the following page, titled Consolidated Statement of Financial Position. Sorry, page 5. Starting from top down, on the non-current assets, if we're all there, the first line of interest or worthy of noting is the investment line, and that's third down under non-current assets. Investments moved from 137.5 million during the 2017 financial year to 142 million at the end of the 2018 financial year, representing a $5 million increase year on year. Having highlighted that figure, I wish to move to the bottom of current assets to highlight cash and short-term deposits. Cash and short-term deposits moved from 166 million to 175 million. I deliberately highlighted that line item second because cash and short-term deposits combined with investments give a full picture of the liquidity or monetary position or near cash and cash position of the association and its subsidiary. And when you combine both numbers, which give you a full picture, you will see that there is a $10.6 million increase year on year. Having highlighted that, on the current assets still, line item receivables, I wish to point out moving from 39 million at the end of the 2017 financial year up to 52.2 million at the end of the 2018 financial year. And for that item, which is represented by note 18, the details are available on page 40 of the financial report. Continuing on that primary statement, the next line of interest or significant for highlight, in my opinion, is the total figure being reported for reserves, and that's the third category of numbers on that primary statement. That total figure being reported at 744 million at the end of the financial year 2018 versus 732 million at the end of the previous financial year. This represents a $12 million increase, which essentially one may interpret as a $12 million increase in the net worth or value of the association and its subsidiary year on year. Having highlighted that, I wish to bring your attention to the last category of numbers on that primary statement, being current liabilities. On the current liabilities, the first line item being payables, there was a movement on the payables balance from 43.6 million at the end of the 2017 financial year up to 63.26 million at the end of the 2018 financial year, representing a $20 million increase or a 46% increase from a percentage standpoint. The details again of this line item can be seen in note 26, reported on page 44 of the financial statement report. The other statements being reported on, in my opinion, the changes that are affecting those financial statement reports are really generated by these two primary statements, which we have gone through and identified the major areas of changes. If you have looked at the details which supported these numbers and have no questions, then I find it appropriate that we would have covered the major areas of significance in the financial statement report.
Thank you, sir. But before you go, colleagues, at this time, the floor is open for questions to our auditor. I see one member coming towards the microphone. If there are other persons wanting to ask questions, I ask you to take up your positions. Please identify yourselves and go ahead with your questions.
Nathaniel Stewart from APND. Mr. Auditor, you pointed out that the cash on sale and short-term deposits, you mentioned 175 million. In the report, I'm seeing 171 million. Is there an error in what you said or in the document?
No, it went up by 5 million, from 166 million to 171 million.
No, but you said 175. So I'm querying, is it?
Well, what I meant to say is it went up by $5 million from 166 million to 171 million, and my sincere apologies, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay, this is Harrison.
Lasonia Harrison, Central St. Andrew. You said, see page 47 for, read page 4 note, yes, pertaining to 31, notes 31, that's on other operating accounts.
That's correct.
Could you say what contributed? I would read the foreign exchange. I see that is showing a loss of figure 1,777,000.
Okay, right. In total, the note 31, which reports on the other operating accounts, essentially is a combination of cited in note 32, just below note 31, on the same page 47, and looking on the details of that note, one will see that the loss position from the property activities was reported at 32.433 million, And that figure was rolled up in note 31 as part of the other operating accounts, which was reported in the statement of profit or loss. So you'll see that the major driver of the loss position is that 32 million being rolled up from property activities.
Okay, but I'd ask in particular concerning the foreign exchange, given that our dollar is, yes, what explains for because the brackets is,
okay.
Please, my math is challenging.
Right. Okay, I see. Essentially, as you will appreciate, the foreign exchange position is a conversion of the net holdings of foreign assets or liabilities of the group. At the end of the financial year, the net holdings was positive, meaning there were net assets holding of the group at the end of 31st March 2018. However, if you will remember that earlier this year, there was a significant revaluation of the Jamaican dollar. And because of that revaluation, which still existed at the end of the financial year, then you will find that the dollar or Jamaican dollar value would have gone down as a result of it, and therefore a loss position being reported on a net total year basis.
Can you, okay, fine. It's land that depreciates. It's land that appreciates and not necessarily buildings. Because I was going to ask you to explain about the depreciation on buildings, but then buildings do get dilapidated and the value of the building would, yes.
Yes, land is not depreciated, you're correct, and buildings are depreciated.
Are there any other questions? If we have no further questions, I ask us to move a motion for the acceptance of the audited financial statements, moved by Mona Ellis and seconded by Angela Russell. Thank you so much. I'll invite our
colleagues have listened to the audit report. The Finance Committee is recommending that Sarah Elton and Company, the name of the auditor for 2018-2019 financial year. The audit, can I have a move by Ray or seconded by? Wallet Bailey. All in favor? The ayes have it. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Thank you so much, Mr. Auditor. And I still ask the Finance Committee to remain, and I invite Mr. Wayne Clark at this time to present the budget for the 2019-2020 financial year.
Thanks, Madam President. I was trying to escape, but catch me at the right time, one time. Good afternoon, colleagues. It's good that, the budget is contained in the booklet, white pages. It's spiral bounded document. While you find the page, it's good that so many persons have remained seated at this time of the day to listen to a budget presentation. That's not the done thing. I remember growing up as a child in my preteen years, I was part of a quartet, and we would go to church on a Sabbath afternoon and do items. Sing. By the end of our rendition, more persons were on the outside than inside. And what they found out was that persons heard us doing the rehearsals and decided that if they wanted to remain reverent, it's best for them to go outside. Having said that, the budget presentation will not be as number crunching and filled with jargon as the financial report. But I really need to ensure that you are awake. So I will tell this one short story. There's an elderly man, very lonely. He went into a bar to have his usual booze. And while he was there, a young lady came in, skimpily dressed.
Quite revealing.
Somebody said, quite revealing. And he thought that this was the answer to his many prayers. So he sat down and pondered what he would say to her. But before he could come up with something, the lady, the young girl, came over and said, I'll do anything for you. Just one condition. Give me $100. Anything. He said, okay. He looked at her again. He covered the ears at it because she was skimpily dressed. And he said, deal. He gave her the money and said, the good thing about it is that whatever it is I'm going to ask you to do, the first letter begins with a P. And then he said, the request is simple this, paint my house. Paint my house. That was the request for $100.
Yes.
All right, so let's look at the real figures now, the budget. If I have to buy drinks, the bar is open, so I buy drinks for them. Anyway, let's look at the real figures now. The budget for 2018-2019. Now, in compiling the budget, we looked at the comparative figures for the previous year. Now, bear in mind that those figures are historic. So we'll look at the impact of inflation on the figures for the year just concluded, March 2018. We also looked at the planned activities for the budget period 2019-2020. And we also had to make some assumptions. We made assumptions regarding interest rates. As you can realize, the interest rates will impact our mortgage payments. It will also impact interest on investments. The other thing that we did, we made assumptions regarding the exchange rate. And as you can see, it's very difficult to predict the exchange rate for tomorrow, much less next year, April. But such is the budgetary process. So we have done all of that and compiled the numbers that are contained in the document. One other point I need to make known is that, like a personal situation for a company, there are limiting resources. The income of the association has not been growing in a significant way, and the expenses tend to outpace the rate of growth of the income. So therefore, in planning the budget, we have to look at all the activities and those that we can do, and to the extent that we can do them. Like individuals, as I said before, if our growth habits exceed our net income, then budgeting is problematic. So let's look at the figures for 2019-2020. We're on to page 1. Are you there? Alright, so pretty much our projected income for the year 2019-2020 is 407 million, and I'm adding ministry fees, bursar fees, non-ministry, and associate fees. The total, which you won't see there, is 4.7 million compared to 393 for the current period that will end March 2019. That represents an increase in 14 million or 3.7%. And bear in mind that the 3.37% increase doesn't move in the same, it's different from the rate of increase in your salary. So I'm just saying that don't make a direct link between the increase in fees and that which you would have received. Sponsorship income, by the way, the fee income represents 78% of the total income, and therefore you can see the reliance that we place on fee income. Sponsorship income, we have budgeted 67.8, a 4.4% increase, or 2.8 million in terms of the overall value. We have not shown any interest on investment for income. We have projected 39 million. And the important thing is that when you compare the expenses for tour versus the income, we are projecting that we will net a positive income of $1 million. Staff costs, the details are contained on page 2. I won't go into the details. Office and General, page 3. Financial charges, down 5.4 to 5.4 from 6.1. And that is based on our existing loans. Representation operations, the details are on page 4. And if you quickly turn to page 4, you will see the total or the breakdown. And we're happy to report that membership drive and tokens, we have projected 26 million versus a figure of 20 million for the period now under review. Rental income, we're back to page 1. The projected amount is 24 million or 4.95%, sorry. Currently we are looking at 22.89, and that property in Northeast that Secretary eloquently spoke about, we're hoping that it will be completed, as he said, and also tenanted, and will put some money to this rental income account. Property, the total expenditure on property, we are projecting 82, up by 5 million from 77 million, that's a 6% increase, which based on inflation and the additional properties, that's well within expectation. On to page 4, we'll just look back at page 4 in a little more detail. Of note is that the expenses for presidents has remained at 14.2. If the lady can do it, then the men should be able to do it, and therefore the figure remains flat. Development programs, we projected 71.2. The major difference in this category is that we will not have a regional force for the period 2019-2020, and therefore there is a 15 million reduction in expenses. Madam Chairman, that is the extent to which I would like to present the work.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Accountant. Are there any questions for Mr. Clark at this time? Can we move towards the microphone, please? Thank you.
Elizabeth Simpson from Kingston. I just want to know, especially given the rate of inflation and so on, and projected inflation, what exactly is the reason that the amount proposed originally for the membership drive and tokens, why has it been reduced to 20 instead of 26?
It's actually the other way around.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
Understand, Mrs. Harrison.
Read the property account income, sir. I think I got, oh, the summary. All right, I think I got your explanation, because I wrote here why in the auditing thing, it says income rental was 16 million 2018, and you have here revised 22 million for 2018, 2019, and 24 million, and you said the St. Anne property would project that you would be getting some income there. On the other, is my understanding correct, sir?
Not quite. The financial report is for the year that was concluded, so it has nothing to do with the budget. The 2018-2019 column that you're seeing revised is the amount that for the year that will end in March 2019.
Yes, sir. And you are, because I asked, what do you project to be the additional source of income that would let you move from 16 million year end to a projection of 22 million 800? And I'm saying, if your response really St. Anne, the completing of the St. Anne building as a source of income, if I'm correct in my understanding.
You are correct.
Okay, thank you. Please persist to help me here. Okay, concerning janitorial and security, the auditing report says that we got 18 million 358 this year. Your projection is 11 million 200,000 for the 2018, this coming year. What would you, why would you reduce the, what would have caused that, the reduction in the projection?
All right, the janitorial and security recoveries really refer to money recovered from our tenants for the provision of those services. All right, in the year that concluded March 2018, we had some previous year's amounts. All right, so we have recovered amounts for, let's say, 16, 17, 17 years. There's more than 1 year recoveries that will have been included in the 18 million. This is just predicated on a more current situation.
I'm not sure your response has
Okay, so
enlighten my mind.
all right, so the tenanted properties, right? They come with security and the provision of janitorial service. All right, so each year at the end of the year, we determine what the actual cost is and then seek to recover it from the tenants. What I'm saying is that in 2018, or the year that concluded in March 2018, there were some back amounts of the prior years that were paid then, and therefore that situation doesn't exist anymore and should not continue going forward.
Thank you, sir.
Madam, you're acknowledging me, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Leslie Thomas, Manchester Parish. I have 2 questions, please. On page 3, Office and General. Recognizing the use of free media, so to speak, could you explain for me the reason for an increase in the budgetary allocation for the cost of telephone service? As well, the printing services seem also to, have been there has been an increased allocation, and I'm wondering if there is not another method of dissemination of information such that those costs could be reduced.
It's quite simple. Sorry, where is the second question?
I'll allow you to respond and then I ask the second.
All right, the increase in telephone is maybe 300,000, right? In this scheme of things, right? The fact of the matter is that with the depreciating dollar, and with the depreciating dollar, the cost tends to go up, and if you add inflation, interest inflation alone will have taken care of the difference. It's not a significant increase, although we'll still try to ensure that we use the technologies available to ensure that we reduce the cost. But in the scheme of things, it's not a significant increase. And it has taken into account what our performance for the year ended, as well as what you're looking at here is a revised projection for 18-19. Now, it doesn't necessarily follow that it will be exactly like this. So we're more guided by what happened up to March of 2018.
Okay, so I guess we should get a more fulsome picture at a later date.
Yes.
The printing.
The same thing applies. The fact of the matter is that if you may have noticed that the reporter this time was printed by someone else, and that is in recognition of the fact that we need to try and keep our costs, contain expenses, and therefore this was a more cost-effective way of doing it. In fact, the annual report, for example, is separated for the second year, and exactly for that reason. So, whilst we recognize that printing goes up, and we try to do things to curtail the cost, and we'll continue to do that.
Sir, while I recognize that you may respond to say this is a negligible increase, you do know that one won't go for full basket, and our net worth with all our subsidiaries combined is a mere $10 million. I don't consider that to be anything significant. Hence my other question, our advertisement and public relations has also seen a reduction in allocation. Could you explain for us why that is so? Thank you.
Again, it is based on the performance for the period just ended. If you were to look at the actual numbers for that period, it is actually less than what we're projecting for the coming period. And therefore, it doesn't mean that we'll cut back in terms of what we do in terms of advertising and all that, but we are conscious of the fact that we need to contain expenses, and this is exactly what we're doing in this case. So whilst there's an increase on telephone, in this instance, there's a reduction. So we are conscious of what we need to do. And these numbers are based to a large extent on the actual performance of the period just ended.
Jeremy Williams.
Good afternoon. Jeremy Williams, Westmoreland Parish Delegate. Sir, I'm looking at representation and operations. Just want to say big up the section membership drive and token for members. This is a good direction to go, because for some members, as you know, they don't get into problems. They're not as active as some of us, and so for them, that's the only thing that they'll probably get from JTA for the year. So we just want to say big up in that direction. Secondly, I am trying to understand on page 3 where you have professional fees, the legal fees. Is this for when teachers are in problems or challenges at work? Is this the amount that's allotted, or?
Not entirely, but partly. In other words, there are other legal fees that are involved in this. For example, legal fees in relation to the properties would have been contained within this. Just that we expect that by then we will taper off, or we'll be spending less on those legal fees. But okay, so it's partially included in it.
So less teachers are getting into problems? I'm just looking because
well, that might require legal service.
Okay, so there's an amount that's budgeted elsewhere, or
no, this is the extent of the budget. It doesn't mean that we won't treat with our issues as they come along, but I'm saying based on what we know at the time and our projection, this is what was projected or included in the budget.
All right, sir. Thank you.
I see Mrs. Harrison, and then the member from Clarendon. I'm going to make a final appeal. If there's anyone else wishing to speak, could you stand up, please? Or we'll make the member from Clarendon the last person to speak. Mrs. Harrison.
Mr. Clark, the income is the property is a source of income for us, isn't that so, sir?
Those that are tenanted, yes.
Okay. I see here in the auditor's report that we had total expense of 67,537. Am I at property account on the page 47? It says 67,537. Here we have a projected, our thing here says for expense or property account, we have projected 63,469,000. So we are approximately $4 million off in terms of our projection, in terms of taking care of the, in terms of the property account. Let me see if my head is going around the question correctly. You are projecting less income from the properties?
No, we're not. In fact, you said 63,489?
537 in the audited on the expenditure. No, let me get it now. We spent 67 million on the buildings, and we are projecting here that we're going to be spending 63 million on the buildings. Is that what I'm reading? Am I reading correctly?
No, you're not. I'm not sure what you're reading in the audit report, but what we have on the budget is that our total expenditure is 82 million compared to 77 for the year that is now in progress.
No, it's wrong thing I'm looking at. I'm looking at page 1.
That's where we're at. That's page 1. All right, let me just
My point is that I wanted to ask. We have a deficit here concerning property account. You see that? Of 32, oh no, you not see that. In the audited thingy. 32 million for 433,000. And when I look up the top and I look at the depreciating on the buildings, it's suggesting that we're not taking care of the building.
No.
So, no? It's not?
There's a difference between depreciation and repairs and maintenance. Depreciation is an accounting
term. Okay.
The buildings are depreciated at 2% per annum. Full stop. It has nothing to do with whether they are repaired or not.
Whether they're
painted or not. The cost of painting, tiling, whatever is repairs and maintenance. So we do in fact, the expenditure on repairs and maintenance is up by $1 million from 9 million to 10 million on page 1. Right, so that is repairs and maintenance. But it doesn't do with depreciation.
Oh, it has nothing to do with. So thank you for enlightening my darkness.
Not a problem.
The member from Clarendon.
Suzette Baker Talon, Maypen DA. As it relates to teachers' welfare on the representation and operations, page 4. I'm wondering why I am not seeing a movement from the 4. I can't recall the figure, it's so big. 4.5 million.
Yeah, that's it.
In 2018-2019, moving things dealing with teachers' welfare, taking in consideration inflation and the different things that are happening to our teachers.
That's the question?
Yeah.
All right, I'll look at it this way, right? Teachers' welfare includes teachers' sports. Includes the membership, they have a token in terms of like $6 million. So, and as Jermaine alluded to, the legal expense include as well legal expense for teachers. So it's not capped in one way. The fact of the matter is that we could have taken 2 million from the 26 million and put it at 24 and put 2 million on teachers and you do okay. Just a question of how it is done. But the fact of the matter is that we do recognize that teachers' welfare is very important.
Yes.
Do not, the figure is adequate based on the reality. If it turns out that we require more, then we'll do what is necessary. But this is what it is at this point in time.
Okay, thank you very much.
The member who just stood, we had established that since no one stood when I asked that no one else could speak, I'll oblige you, but you're going to be the final person.
Good afternoon, Yannick Bobson, St. Anne Parish. I also have a question as it relates to representation and operations. Annual conference expense, 23.4 mil for 2018-2019, and I noticed the same proposed figure for 2019-2020. I also see subsidy for delegates to conference, 5.6 mil last year, or the year we're currently in, 2018-2019, and the same amount for 2019-2020. I hear the word inflation keep on being mentioned by persons before me, and the same question applies. How is it that we're